Good morning. So we read in this week's Parsha, the secret to the success of a man. How can a man become fabulously wealthy? Let's read how Abraham became fabulously wealthy. And the Zohar says that this is the secret for every man becoming wealthy. But also, who is greater? Who was greater, our mothers or our fathers? Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, or Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah? So in order to understand all this, let's first go to a beautiful and not understood story that happened in this week's Parsha. So the screen is shared in front of you. Check this out. Verse number 10 tells us that there was a famine in the land. And Abraham, this was one of his 10 tests that God gave him to see how he would react. So Abraham was tested, and he said to his wife, okay, let's go to Egypt. And verse 11, it says, behold, now I know that you're a woman it's not as beautiful. She was gorgeous, one of the most beautiful women in history. So Abraham says to his wife, it will come to pass. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. What will they do? They will kill me because they want you instead of me. So he says to her, Imrina achotiat, please say you are my sister, in order that I should be saved, basically. What? Commentaries struggle with this. Why would Abraham abandon his wife, so to speak? His wife, his beautiful wife, has a problem. They're coming into Egypt. And if he says, you are my wife, they'll kill him because the husband, and now they'll take her. So what's the answer? Say you are my sister. So Abraham is in effect only taking care of himself. What about his wife? Well, what do you mean? Since when does a man only take care of himself? How is this understood? And especially since we read the end of the story, that Sarah was captured by Pharaoh, and he wanted her. In the end, God made a miracle. Look at verse 17, and the Lord, which is the angel, plagued Pharaoh with great plagues, as well as his household, and count of Sarai, Abraham's wife. So Sarah had a special angel protecting her. But why would he leave her to her fate? So the answer to this lies in the question, who is greater, Abraham or Sarah? So we read, if you look at this in front of you, in the next week's Parsha, Abraham and Sarah had an argument, a major argument, and they went to the first marriage counselor in history, God himself, and they said to God, this is my side, this is her side, what should we do? The argument was about Ishmael. Abraham wanted Ishmael to stay in his house, and Sarah begged him and asked him and demanded that he banish her and her mother from the house, Ishmael and the mother Hagar. So if you look at verse number 10, and Sarah said to Abraham, drive out this handmaid, Hagar, and her son, for they will not inherit my son Isaac. And the matter greatly displeased Abraham. So Abraham goes to the marriage counselor God, verse 12, and God said to Abraham, be not displeased concerning the lad and concerning your handmaid. And here's the marital advice for all husbands throughout history. Whatever Sarah tells you, hearken to her voice. You want to live long, you want to be well, listen to her voice. This wasn't just about this piece of advice, it was for all matters. You know, sometimes men have this amazing dream, are we going to conquer, we're going to invest in this and that. Always ask your wife. Your wife has intuition, she knows. This was Abraham's advice, and he listened to God. By the way, we read this story on Rosh Hashanah, and this is the time where the head of the year, because we need advice to be able to carry through the whole entire year. But with that in mind, we can now understand that the truth is Sarah was much, much greater than Abraham. The mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, were greater than the fathers. They were greater in spirituality. They were closer to God. It says in general, a woman is more spiritual, more connected to God than a man, which is why a man needs to put on tefillin and daven 3 times a day and do so many more mitzvot. A woman has a natural connection to God. She doesn't need, she's more superior. And by the way, this is why it says, the Zohar says, that Abraham became fabulously wealthy. You know why? Look at verse 16. And he benefited Abraham for her sake. Pharaoh gave Abraham a lot of money. Donkeys and servants. And says the Zohar, you know why he became wealthy? Because he cherished his wife. Says the Zohar, the more man respects his wife, loves his wife, cherishes her, nurtures her, provides for her, give her everything she needs and wants, the wealthier you will be. The secret to wealth is by treating your wife with love and respect. The more love and respect you give her and show her, the wealthier you will be. Sounds like crazy advice, right? I would think the Torah would tell me which stocks to buy, which investments to make. No, the Torah says you want to be wealthy, treat and cherish and love your wife. The more you do that, the more you will be wealthy. So the answer to why Abraham said to his wife, please say you are my sister, was Abraham knew the truth. He knew that his wife was much greater than him. So he knew that she didn't need protection from him. He was the one who needed protection. So he said to his wife, tell me my sister, so I'll be protected. What about you? You never needed protection in the first place. There was an angel which followed Sarah, which did everything she commanded and demanded. Sarah was much, much greater. Sarah never needed the protection that Abraham needed. So therefore Abraham said, say you my sister. If you're my wife, they'll kill me. I'm worried about myself. It was never about you. This is tremendous lesson and advice for every single one of us, how to cherish, respect, nurture our spouses, and how to lead and live with Shalom Bayit. May we all take this lesson to heart and implement it immediately in our lives. And Shabbat Shalom.